we are going to learn is the thread. See here, I have shown you one diagram here. Can you see a thread-like structure? So what basically is a thread? So far we have been discussing all about the process, isn't it? Now process, if you remember, I have told you there are 4 sections: data section, text section, stack, and heap is there. So process is quite heavyweight. So thread, what actually is a thread? Thread is nothing but a lightweight process. And process has an independent existence, but the thread has to work within the process. So how will you define the thread? Thread is a lightweight process. It has its separate path of execution, and a single process can contain one or more threads, and the benefit of using threads is that they can be executed simultaneously. See, when the operating supports that multiple threads could be created within the single process, then what will happen? All the multiple threads will execute concurrently, means they will execute at the same time. And because of that, what will happen? The process will get done easily and within time, isn't it? Like I have written here some example, like you can open multiple Word documents. Then say suppose if you are using Chrome, if you have just gone to the, say, task manager, within the processes tab, you can see multiple Chrome processes are reflected. So why that is happening? Because of the multi-threading. Now I'll show you one diagram to reflect this, like what is thread. Now this is our process tab. If you remember, I have shown you 4 particular sections, isn't it? Like code means register part is there, data part is there, then stack is there. Means I have also discussed heap. So say suppose within your text section, code and registers are there. So what actually happens is, suppose this is one particular process. Now this is one example in which only one thread is there within this process. Remember, a thread does not have a independent existence outside process. It has to be within the process. Now consider this next diagram. Here what is happening is that here for a particular process there are multiple threads. Means here only one thread is there and here 3 threads are there. And each of this particular thread, so each of this thread have their own register and stack. They may be sharing code, data and file part, but for their independent execution, they have their own set of registers and stack. So this is one particular example of single threaded process and multi-threaded process. So as you can see, compared to the process, thread is obviously a lightweight. Why I'm saying lightweight? Because if you consider a process, this entire piece is nothing but the process. So see here, there are all the different things within the process. But if you consider only the thread, okay, see here only small part of process is there, isn't it? And that is why we called it as lightweight. Next, we will discuss what are the benefits of using threads. The first obvious benefit is responsiveness. In a particular system, multiple interactive applications are there. So these interactive applications will have multiple threads, and these multiple threads will execute simultaneously or in parallel. And because of that, what is going to happen? The work will get done faster, and we will feel that the system is giving us response within the time, isn't it? So this is the first advantage of responsiveness. Like say suppose if you ask a question, I answer you immediately. So you will say that responsiveness is good, isn't it? So what happens in multi-threaded system? Responsiveness of system is very good as compared to other only process oriented system. Now second is, as was shown in the diagram, resource sharing is there. We have just seen in the earlier diagram, like only some part of process is being shared. So it makes the sharing of resources very easy in the thread. Then economy is there, means it is very cost effective. Thread is very cost effective as compared to process. Why I am saying this? Because a process takes a lot of resources and it also takes a lot of time to execute. As compared to that, thread, it takes only few resources and it gets the work done within less time as compared to the process, isn't it? So that is why using thread is more economical for the system. And the last advantage is obviously full CPU utilization is there, isn't it? Means what is our aim? The CPU should be kept busy all the time, isn't it? So since multiple threads are running in parallel, hence we would say that the CPU is utilized to its maximum potential. So these are the benefits of using the threads. To discuss what do you mean by different types of threads. Okay, so let us start. So first type of thread that we are going to discuss is known as user managed thread or user level threads. As you can see in the diagram, here P stands for the process and there is user space and kernel space. Earlier when we have discussed operating system calls, we have discussed that the operating system works in two modes, user mode and kernel mode. So how will you define the user level threads? The threads which operate in the user space and supported by a thread library are known as the user level threads. The second type is known as the kernel level threads. Now if you recall, kernel is nothing but the core part of our operating system, isn't it? So you can see here clearly in the diagram, these threads are present in the kernel space, hence they are known as the kernel level threads. Now let us dig deep into the first user level threads and then we will try to understand kernel level threads. We can see the user level threads are implemented by the user and they are managed by the user level library. So here one rectangular box is there where the user level library is existing. And see what is the first difference here, that the particular user level threads, the kernel is not aware of this user level threads. See, that is why I have written here, operating system is not aware of the existence of this thread. So these user level threads are totally managed by the users and operating system does not participate in any of its function. How actually the operating system manages this user level thread? The first thing is that it is not aware of all these multiple threads. It just considers it as a single thread process. And who is in charge of that? The user is in charge of this user level threads. Then, as I have told you just now, operating system will not interfere in this user level threads and it has nothing to do with how actually it is working out. And these user level threads, they do not modify the operating system. They just perform the task given by the user and then they will either execute, terminate and exit out of the system. And the operating system will not bother about them. These user level threads, these are cheap and fast at user level. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these user level threads? Here the advantage of user level threads is that they are very cheap and fast at user level and they do not modify the operating system. So user level threads are mostly the responsibility of the user, how they are executed and how they are doing the given task. After this, next thread that we are going to see is the kernel level thread. Now here what is happening, as is visible in this diagram, the process is creating the kernel threads within the kernel space. So such types of threads are directly taken care of by the operating system. So here, how will I define kernel threads? These are the operating system managed threads. Then see, earlier user level threads, operating system was not aware of it. But this kernel level threads, since they are managed by the operating system, obviously operating system is aware of this kind of threads and they are responsible for managing this kernel level threads. Then how actually this operating system is managing the thread? See, what happens is that kernel has a thread table which keeps track of all the threads within the system. And system calls create and manage the threads. If you recall our discussion, what are system calls? System calls is nothing but the interface between process and the operating system. So system calls are responsible for creating and managing these kernel level threads. Because what happens is that when a system call is generated, when say suppose the application is running in the user mode and somehow it requires say suppose a particular file from the operating system, from the disk, then what it will do? It will call the operating system that I require this particular IO operation. And then the in kernel mode, what is going to happen? A system call will be created. So this kernel threads actually takes place within the kernel space. And since too many resources are involved here, it is slow and inefficient than the user level. See, what happens is that user level threads, they actually are generated in user space and they are not directly involved with the kernel. Hence, they are very cheap and they can execute faster. But that does not take place within the kernel space. So the generated kernel threads are very slow and inefficient as compared to the user level. Okay. And for implementing these kernel threads, obviously we require hardware support, isn't it? Because see, the kernel is in charge of the complete, say suppose device management, IO devices. So obviously it requires a hardware support. And here context switching time is more. Now if you recall what we have discussed when discussing the context switching, see when you are switching from one process to another process. So what you are going to do? Save the state of one process and reload the state of another process, isn't it? Now since here kernel space is involved, in these types of threads, context switching time is more. So here example is Windows Solaris. So these were the two types of threads that we have just now discussed.